Hello everybody, this is Sharon Parlia again, continuing our electronic medical record course. This is module 4. We're going to be talking about scheduling. We're going to be using OpenEMR as an example for how to schedule as a continuation from our last module, which had to do with patient demographics. Okay, to start with, I'd like to give you a little overview of scheduling and what we mean by scheduling within an electronic medical record. Usually we deal with a calendar. It's compact and flexible, and it's an appointment calendar, and it has several features. Usually you can find open appointment slots, you can find category for appointment types, you can associate colors with different appointment types, so visually it's easy to see what's going on. You can schedule repeating appointments. For instance, we'll use a rehab as an example, PT, physical therapy, 3 times a week for 8 weeks. That's a repeating appointment. You can also restrict appointments based on type. And in order to make an appointment, we need to set up schedules. So we're going to discuss that as well. So as I mentioned previously, before we could set up an appointment for a patient, we need to have schedules. So the first thing we need to do is set up schedules for our doctors. We need to show when they're available, when they come in, when they leave, when they'll have open slots, as well as putting in when if they take lunch every day. So this is what it looks like again in OpenEMR. The calendar module, this is for the front desk staff. So the calendar will show the schedule of all the MDs at that clinic, and this is done by default. From the providers list, you can click on which provider you want to set up a schedule for, and you click on the start time of that physician, and I'm showing that in this screenshot. Here's the time, 9 o'clock, where they're going to start. This is the provider. Okay, as we mentioned in the previous slide, we're now going to set up, we're actually going to set up the schedule for the physician. So in the previous slide we had the physician and we clicked a start time, which caused this next screen to open up. Here we just fill out the fields as they appear. So in category, we're going to select in office because we want to set up his office schedule. The time is the start time, which he'll come in every day, and that will be filled in because we just clicked on that. We can the other items will just default in office, whatever the clinic is that we're in at that moment, and whoever the provider is that we picked. We should check the repeat box. So this schedule will repeat every work day, and we can also put in. We're going to save this. Then if we want to block out any time, for instance, if we wanted to block out an hour for lunch, we would then change the category to lunch and put a time in of noon or whatever time your lunch starts. And here we would put a duration in of 60 minutes so that that would block out the lunch time. Okay, once we start setting up schedules, usually we have multiple providers within a clinic, so the calendar will begin to look like this. We'll see, one doctor, another doctor, the open appointments when they come in, when they take lunch, and they'll go across the screen as such. Now we're actually ready to make an appointment for a patient. So the first thing we have to do is locate the patient. Again, this is why demographics are important. You want to be able to just do a search and have the patient come up. So once we do our search for our patient, we hope that we can locate the patient. If the patient appears on the list, we're going to just click on the name and the demographic summary will open. We're going to confirm, usually the patient's on the phone at this point or in front of us. We're going to confirm the contact information and the insurance information with the patient. If the patient is not an existing patient, they haven't been here before, thus the search produces no one. Now this is considered a new patient, so we're going to click on new patient and we're going to now just enter demographics on that patient. When we're creating an appointment for a patient, there's several areas of the screen we can look at. As the arrows are indicating over here, if there was an existing appointment, unfortunately this patient did not have an existing appointment, they would appear under the appointments portion of the screen on the right side of the screen. We can at this point add, because right now this is a demographic screen coming up for Rod Rourke, as you see his name up there. So we would click on that add button to schedule a visit for this patient. So once we clicked on that add appointment screen on the patient's demographic screen previously, a new box is going to pop up and it's going to be the add new event. So this looks very similar to when we were creating a schedule for the provider. Now we're actually scheduling an appointment for the patient. So in the category, we're going to choose established patient if it is an established patient, or new patient if it's a new patient. And we're also going to find, we're looking to find a time. Everything else will be filled in, the facility, the patient's name, the provider. What we're trying to do now is find an available appointment. So we're going to click on the Find Available button on the bottom left, and hopefully we'll be able to find something that would satisfy this patient who is looking for, as we see on the right side of the screen, a 15-minute appointment somewhere around 5 o'clock. So we're still trying to add an appointment. When we clicked on Locate Available on the previous screen, a new box pops up with the available times. So here we see there's, it's listing for that week that we wanted the appointment, 9/29/2011, which days and times were available. So in this case, we agree that 2:30 is on Thursday would be the preferable time. So we're just going to click on that, and this will open another event box, and we will save it. So let's look at that next. So as I mentioned on the previous screen, we had chosen 2:30 on September 29th, that Thursday, for this person, Rod Rourke's appointment, and here, lo and behold, it pops up on the calendar. Just I want to mention a few things about this calendar, that at this point, if you wanted to look at what was going on a certain day, you can scroll through the calendar. You can change the month where it says September over there. There's an arrow to the left and the right, or you could just click on any day and you'd be able to see what was scheduled for that particular day and time. Well, I guess the saying is a picture speaks 1,000 words, and in this case it's the status indicator. As you see on the bottom of the screen here, there's different indicators to show different things, whether it's a plus sign to show that the chart was pulled, or an X sign to show that the appointment was canceled, or a question mark to indicate a no-show, or an @ sign to say the patient arrived, or a tilde to say the patient arrived late, or an exclamation point to say the patient left without a visit. There's plenty of ways to indicate, what's going on with the patient, and it's always, many people like to just visually see at a glance what's going on, status-wise, and you can change it, as needed.